Hello everyone and welcome on this new weekly market analysis video from Xtreme Trader. This is Stella speaking. So in regards of our premium Forex signals which we have sent in the premium group, we have thankfully been able to make 380 pips profit this week to our clients. Now, of course, I have to mention something that this was, of course, not our best weeks, but however, we had a very good days because Monday was actually a full 100% in profit. Check this out. These were the signals which we have sent last Monday in our group, and as you can see, all of them were actually in a good profit. Of course, then Tuesday we had some losses, sadly, but of course, this is part of the business, and we cannot really escape from that. Then as you can see, I want to show you actually the stop losses right here. Hit stop loss 5 pips. Actually, I know it's very tight, but our analysis was really so much accurate, and we were sure that the market won't be able to rise even 5 pips above our signal, but sadly it just hit the stop loss with 5 pips. So even look at that, the Euro and ZD, the stop loss was just 10 pips. We are slowly moving from 50 pips of stop loss to make it 15 or 20 pips of stop loss only. Actually, this is our target. We want to get rid of the 50 pips stop loss. So slowly, we are just moving to that target. Now, as you can see, thankfully, so many of our signals have reached the take profit number 1 and 2 as well. Check this out. 2 stop losses were hitting 20 and 15 pips. And I think, guys, this is really good. I'm not saying that the hitting stop loss is good, of course. I'm just saying that the stop loss of that amount is actually good because we can maintain to control our funds. And also, of course, compare these losses to these big profits which we have made. The pound CHF have made alone 100 of pips on that day. Then, of course, on Friday, last Friday, as we can see, last Friday was 100% of profit as well. Check this out. All of the signals have reached the take profit number 1 and 2 as well. So I think it was a good week somehow. But of course, we are expecting the next week to be much better because all the banks are on duty. And of course, the market is going to be in high volatility. And we are not seeing high impact news on next week. So I believe the next week is going to really be really good, and we are expecting to make a lot more profits with our Forex signals, and we will aim to make no less than 1,000 of pips this coming week. So make sure to join Xtreme Trader Premium Forex Signals group to not miss this opportunity. So of course, if you wish to join the group, please contact our support. You can find their contact details in the description below this video. Contact them today and hopefully we will see you there. Alright, so let's now begin with the weekly analysis, and of course, as usual, we will start with the Euro USD. Now, let me just tell you something. The first thing we want to do always is move to the bigger time frame. Let's move to the weekly chart. We need to understand the next candle because actually the weekly chart can tell us what is the next candle gonna be. Now, in my opinion, right now, the market has been facing that strong support level at 1.04930. However, we can see that the market has already retested the broken support level at 1.06412. Look at that. The market right here on the weekly chart, my friends. This was the bearish breakout candle, and this was the strong support level. And as we can see, the market has made here the breakout right from that support, and this was the retest. Great. That means that the market has already retested that broken level. Now all we need to do is moving right now slowly to the smaller time frame. Let's go now to the daily chart. Alright, now on the daily chart we can see this pattern has appeared. These two candles usually indicate the continuation in the bearish momentum. Why? Because right here, I want to show you this. Exactly right here. Let me just be more precise. Exactly right here. So usually, my friends, these two candles like that represents a false breakout. All right. So we can see that the market has been respecting the real level of the resistance right here and right here and right here as well. So we can actually ignore this level because it was a false breakout. Perfect. Let me first switch off Steam since it's really annoying. Source SDK base. What is this? I don't know. Anyway, exit Steam. And let me just tell you something. Right now, all we need to do is move to the smaller time frame. Let's move to the 4-hour time frame. Perfect. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This was the false breakout, and this was the real level of the resistance. Now, what we can expect actually that the market might be ranging inside this level to actually make the bearish breakout from it. Let me just draw the channel like that. Exactly. So as you can see, this was the channel, and the market seems like it's getting more narrow, and it's gonna eventually reach the bottleneck of that channel and makes what we call the price explosion. Now, keep in mind that on the 4-hour time frame, we have right here the spin bar has appeared, which means that most likely the Euro USD is going to continue the fall very soon. However, keep in mind that we have right here resistance, a false breakout, then again the resistance. So this is resistance number 1. This was right here a resistance number 1 as well. This was resistance number 2. Then we had the breakouts. Then again the counts are going to be started again. So resistance number 1, which means we can wait for the market to rise again to the same level of the resistance number 1 to create resistance number 2, and right from that level we will be shorting the Euro USD. So as you can see, based on the time frames, we moved slowly from the weekly to the daily to the 4-hour time frame to identify the direction. Now all I'm going to do is just like that, identify the levels. So this was actually the real level of the resistance, which means we have to wait for the Euro USD to rise again for about 30 pips before we can start shorting it. Now let's identify the targets. Let's move to the daily chart. No, let's move to the weekly chart. Now on the weekly chart, all we need to do is look at the market and find the strongest support level, which was the nearest one to our entry. As you can see, we had right here the support level. That is the next support level to this support right here, which means the level of 1.04550 is going to be our target, which means we will be shorting the market right here at the retest of the broken support level right here. And the target is going to be exactly right here after 120 pips, I would say, at the nearest support level to that level. And of course, for the safe zone should be ranging only a little bit above the false breakout, because if the market gonna be able to break out from that level, then most likely this setup is no longer valid, which means the safe, okay, that's a lot, that's enough actually like that. The safe zone will be ranging for about 53 pips. Meanwhile, the target is gonna be 118 pips. Let me now please write the signal for you. And there goes your signal, my friends, for the Euro USD. Of course, no need to remind you that you should always wait for the good price action to confirm this entry. Don't ever place any pending orders. Don't just assume that the market is instantly going to reverse at that sell level. This is in the end just an advice and just a technical analysis. Just make sure that you are waiting for the price action or anything that confirms our entry. So that's everything for the Euro USD. Let's now move to the next pair. Let's now move to the Pound USD. Alright, so again we will do the same thing. Let's go now to the weekly chart, and I think it's very similar to the Euro USD. The Pound USD most likely is actually gonna continue the fall, and I don't see that the Pound USD gonna make any bullish reversal until it reaches the highest, the strongest level of the support at 1.22050. Only then we can start buying the pair, but for the meantime we will maintain shorting it. So another thing, of course, those who are following me for a long time, they know this rule that once we see this candle right here, this kind of price action, this kind of candle, once you see this candle at the bearish breakout from a support, you can be confirmed, or you can actually confirm that the market is going to continue the fall. Usually this kind of price action indicates a continuation in the bearish momentum. So that being said, we can see that the market has indeed resumed the fall last week. And if I'm not mistaken, also the next week is going to continue the fall till it reaches the strongest level of the support at 1.22050. So that being said, we need right now to move to the smaller time frame to confirm where exactly we can start shorting the pair. Let's move to the 1 hour time frame. I would like to be more precise. Anyway, let's now look at the 1 hour time frame, and we can see clearly that the market has created right here a strong resistance trend line. Exactly just like that. And we can confirm that the market has made right here a bullish breakout right from that level of a resistance trend line, and the market has instantly broke out from that level again, which means, my friends, that this was again, yes, you're right, a false breakout from the real level of the resistance trend line. Now all we need to do is waiting for the market to reach again this level of the previous resistance trend line, and of course also it's going to be retesting the broken support level right here exactly at 1.242 00. Let me just confirm if this was the level. Exactly right here. Just exactly to be more accurate and precise, exactly like that. Yes. All right. So the thing here is we are waiting for the market to create a new resistance trend line respecting the previous resistance trend line, which we already have right here. Also, it's going to be retesting that broken support level at 1.24099. Now keep in mind, we already have right here a resistance number 1. I'm on the 1 hour time frame, and these 2 wicks right here represents the resistance number 1, which means we can wait for the market to reach this level. And of course, first of all, it's going to be creating the resistance trend line number 1, and of course the second attempt of the resistance number 2 based on this one was actually a resistance number 1, which means we have actually to wait for the pound USD to rise to another 73 pips before we can start shorting it. Now, do you think it's a wise idea to start buying the pair? I think not. As mentioned earlier, this price action on the weekly chart actually it confirms the continuation in the bearish momentum. So buying right now is not really gonna be a good idea. You can do it if you want, if you wish to. Let me just tell you something. If you wish to start buying the pound USD right now, you can, but under your own responsibility. Assuming that we already have right here a previous real level of a support, and this was a false breakout. So we can assume that the market actually might continue the rise on Monday morning, and then by Monday evening or Tuesday, I think we can start shorting the pound USD. So if you wish to start buying, it's really up to you, but for me personally, I'm against it. I don't advise that. Anyway, let me just tell you something, that if we started shorting right here, the target is going to be the lowest level of the support again at 1.22782, which means the target is going to be 132 pips. Now for the safe zone should not actually be higher than the previous resistance right here. And of course it was the other edge of the previous strong support level at 1.24693. which means the safe zone will be ranging for about 57 pips only. Meanwhile, the target is going to be about 131 pips. Let me now please write the signal for you. And there goes your signal, my friends, for the pound USD. Let's now move to the next signal. Let's now take a look at the AUD USD. So as we can see, it's very interesting to look at the AUD USD chart right now, because we can see that the market has made right here what we can call a false breakout. It was very obvious fake breakout from that level of the resistance right here, exactly at 0.71585. Now we can hope actually for another pullback when the market is actually going to continue the rise, reaching exactly the same level of that resistance as 0.71481. Now keep in mind that the same level was previously a strong resistance, as we can see right here exactly on that same level. So that false breakout tells us a lot actually. Let me just show you now on the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, we are having here a support zone, and seems like the market actually hasn't been able to break out from that level of a support zone so far, which means we can expect from the market to make another pullback, and that level of a real resistance gonna be respected eventually. There is a chance, there is a slight chance that the market actually might be able to go higher than that and reach the peak of the resistance exactly right here at 0.71807. But I don't think this is going to happen instantly. Most likely the market is actually going to rise to another 75 pips before we can start shorting it. And I believe that this was actually a very strong key resistance level based on the tail size, or the wick size, sorry. So if that happens, let me now move to the daily chart. If that happens, the final target is going to be right here where we had the lowest level of the support as 0.69927, which means we can expect to make approximately 155 pips of profit. Meanwhile, let me now go back to the 4-hour time frame. The safe zone will be ranging only till the highest level of the resistance right here as 0.72276, which means the safe zone, that's a lot actually, yeah, that's better. The safe zone will be ranging for about 70 pips. Yeah, I know that's a lot, guys, but that's sadly what the setup is providing for us. just to be sure that hopefully it's going to be a good signal. Let me now please write the signal for you. And of course, there goes your signal, my friends, for the AUD USD. Just a reminder that I usually don't give this much of target for any signal, not to mention, of course, the safe zone, which is going to be really high, about 70 pips. So please be careful with this signal, and always be sure that you are entering each and every signal here with a proper money management and preparation for any potential losses. Yes, you might actually fail in this trade. It might fail, of course, everyone knows that. There is nothing guaranteed in Forex, so please make sure that you are prepared for any potential losses. But however, from my technical view, that's exactly how the AUD/USD is gonna move. So anyway, that's everything for this pair. Let's now move to the next signal. Let's now take a look at the USD CAD. Alright, so regarding USD CAD, it's very obvious for me that the pair is gonna continue the rise. I want to show you something. Let's check now the weekly chart. Okay, so now let's focus on the weekly chart to see this. We need right now to see that the pair is actually facing a strong resistance zone, right? Okay, let's take a look. So I'm going to do actually here, just to define the resistance zone, and this is the way to show the resistance zone, as we can see, my friends. So look at that. This is the resistance zone, and pay attention that the market has never actually been able to break out from that level, but only recently, with the last weekly candle, the market has indeed been able to close as a full bar even above the resistance zone, which means that most likely the pair is going to actually continue the rise from that point. So however, we need right now to go to the smaller time frame to find our entry. Let's go to the daily chart. Now let me just tell you something. We had right here a resistance level, and right here on the daily chart we see this bullish breakout candle. So it's ideal, in my opinion, to enter actually exactly right here. Exactly right here. Let me just delete the other line, exactly like that. So this is actually the nearest resistance to that bullish breakout candle. The thing here is, if I move to the smaller time frames, such as 4-hour candles, I can't really see this. It's not really so much accurate. But however, on the daily chart, it's actually much more obvious. Another thing, of course, is if I draw here a support trend line just like that, and I need to drag it all the way just like that, and we can see clearly that this was a support trend line number 1. So we can assume that the market is actually going to make another pullback, and most likely it's going to reverse exactly right here. However, it might actually extend a little bit more just to reach the other the same level of the support trend line to create support trend line number 2. Therefore, we have to wait for the USD CAD to fall to another 42 pips before we can start buying it. However, let's go back to the weekly chart to identify our targets. So let's assume that most likely the market is going to be reversing at that level at 1.28683. The next target, of course, is going to be right here, exactly right here. This was, my friends, the nearest resistance to our current entry at this resistance, which means we can expect to make about 250 pips profit from the signal. However, that's not realistic in my opinion. I don't really like to give these unrealistic targets. Therefore, I'm going to actually adjust the... Okay, let's zoom out again. I'm going to adjust the target to make it at the nearest support instead. Look at that. This is the nearest support to our entry, which means we are now aiming about 164 pips, which is actually a little bit more realistic and affordable. I mean, we can't really expect to make this much of pips. However, for the safe zone, it's going to be ranging till this level, which was a little bit lower actually than the current support, and at the same level of the lowest support right there at 1.27966, which means the safe zone will be ranging for about 70 pips, I believe. Exactly 70 pips, but keep in mind that we had right here, my friends, the real level of the support, and this right here was actually another false breakout, which means we can expect from the market to reverse exactly right here at 1.28663, and the safe zone will be ranging right here till 1.27966. Let me now please write the signal for you. And there goes your signal, my friends, for the USD CAD. We are expecting to make about 160 pips profit from this signal. Meanwhile, the safe zone is ranging for about 70 pips. That's everything for this pair. Let's now move to the next one. Let's now take a look at the USD JPY. All right, so the USD/JPY, if we check the monthly chart, is actually making a historical rise. The pair has never been able to break out from that level since 2002. I was in the high school that time. Wow. Okay, so anyway, the market seems like it's going to continue the rise eventually. I mean, eventually the USD/JPY is going to continue the rise till it reaches the highest level of the resistance right here at 135.045. I don't think that the USD/JPY has any chance to reverse before reaching that level of the resistance. So looking at the 4-hour time frame right now, we have switched back to the 4-hour time frame. I need to check the resistance, the support trend line, and check this perfection. The market is indeed rising and respecting that level of a support trend line. So meaning the market most likely is gonna continue the rise after making another bounce right here and retest that broken support level exactly right here. Let me just zoom in so you can see it actually. Now, look at that. We are having here a strong key support level. As you can see, the market has made several attempts to break out from that level. Then we had here another false breakout, which means most likely the market right now is ranging on that level of a resistance. Then most likely the market is going to continue the fall till it reaches the same level of that real support. This is the normal behavior for the market. Once we see a real level of a support, then we see a false breakout. The market, I would say 95% of the time, if not even more, is gonna actually fall again, retesting the same level of the real support and then continue the rise. That's the scenario I'm expecting to happen with the USD/JPY. Therefore, we are having right here a support level. Let me just show it to you exactly like this. So this is the support level, this is the false breakout right here, and then we can expect from the USD/JPY to make another pullback right here, retesting that support and also retesting the same level of a support trend line, which means we have to wait for the pair to fall to another 67 pips before we can start buying it. I know, my friends, it's a lot of pips, but however, that's what the setup is providing to us and I really cannot change anything about it. So 129.860 is going to be the level where we can start buying the USD/JPY, and for the safe zone, actually it shouldn't be ranging for so much. This is the maximum level where we can actually expect from the market to go against our direction, since we can see that this was actually the lowest level of the support, which means the safe zone will be ranging only for 50 pips, which is really good, by the way, compared to the other safe zone which we have showed in the other setups. However, the target, my friends, is gonna be right here, the highest level of the resistance at 131.137. And that means that we're aiming about 127 pips profit from this signal. Take profit level at 131.137. That's everything for the USD/JPY. Let's now move to the next pair. Let's now take a look at the USD/CHF. Alright, so the USD/CHF is also rising, similar to the USD/JPY, but however, I believe right now, after checking the weekly chart, right now we are in the weekly chart, the USD/CHF has actually reached the peak of the resistance at 0.99023, which means I believe that most likely the USD/CHF is actually gonna make a pullback and reverses exactly right there at the peak of that resistance. After that, the market most likely is gonna continue the rise after reversing exactly at the level of the nearest support at 0.98519, because most likely the USD/CHF eventually gonna actually continue the rise till it reaches the real level of the resistance right here. Do you remember what I have just said about the how the market reacts to the level of real support and resistance? Keep in mind that we're having here a real level of the resistance, then we have another false breakout right here, and then we can expect from the market to continue the rise till it reaches the same level of the real resistance. It happens, my friends, and you can see in the upcoming time soon that this is most likely what will gonna happen with the USD/CHF, and I'm somehow ready to bet on it. Anyway, we can expect another pullback based on that strong key support level exactly right here as 98519. So based on the weekly chart we are actually analyzing, let's now move to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see clearly that the market has already made another reversal exactly on that level of a support, which means the market has created here a support number 1. Therefore, we can start buying the USD again at the second attempt of the support, which is going to be held exactly right here at 0.98391. Which means we have to wait for the USD to fall to another 44 pips before we can start buying the pair. And once we do that, the target, my friends, has to be right here exactly at the peak of the resistance, exactly at 0.99923, which means we are aiming about 150 pips profit from the signal. Meanwhile, for the safe zone, let me just go back to the 4-hour time frame. The safe zone should be ranging only till here. I think this should be fine. Yeah, should be fine. This is actually the nearest support to the level. Meanwhile, these two actually are false breakouts. So this is going to be the maximum where we can expect from the pair to go against our direction. Let me now please write the signal for you. And there goes the signal, my friends, for the USD again. We are expecting to make about 160 pips profit from the signal. Meanwhile, the safe zone is ranging for about 70 or 68 pips. That's everything for the USD. Let's now move to the next pair. Let's now take a look at the gold. Okay, now for the gold, I have to say this. Actually, last week, if you remember, my friends, I have made a special video analyzing the gold, and sadly the signal has failed miserably. However, the general direction was actually correct. I believe I have mentioned that we can start buying the gold exactly right here at that level of a real support at 1883.09. However, the gold sadly has continued to fall till it reaches actually this support level. That's actually something I didn't see. I didn't expect to happen. But what we can see right now is this, that we have right here a real level of a support. Then we had another false breakout. Then we can see the market has been respecting the real level of the support, which is actually surprising because in my opinion, this was actually a false breakout and this was the support. Maybe I was mistaken. Actually, I want to apologize to anyone who have lost money because of this signal. But again, I'm telling you guys that every trade you're opening is an investment and make sure that you are always prepared for any potential losses. However, nevertheless, the pair is most likely gonna continue the rise. The analysis or the previous analysis from the gold, which I have made last week, is still valid. On the daily chart, we have reached actually the level of a strong key resistance level at 1873. And we can see that the market eventually respecting that level of a previous resistance. All of that says that most likely we have to consider buying the gold. Keep in mind that this candle right here, the reversed hammer, which is my favorite price action, has appeared again on the daily chart last Thursday, which means most likely right now after the appearance of this candle, usually I would say 95% again of the times the market usually respects that level, or sorry, respecting actually that price action, which means we can expect from the gold to continue the rise for the remaining days of this week. Therefore, I believe strongly that the gold is going to be good to be bought exactly right here at the second attempt of the support, because right here, my friends, we have support number 1 has appeared, and therefore we can expect from the gold to fall again and reverse exactly right on that level, and it's going to be a support number 2. That's exactly where we can start buying the gold, and most likely it's going to continue the rise at least to hit the level of the resistance at 1915. So let me now please write the signal for you. And there goes your signal, my friends, for the gold. Again, the target is going to be at 1910, which is going to be about 356 pips of profit, hopefully. Meanwhile, the safe zone is ranging for about 131 pips at 1861.16. So there goes your signals, my friends, for the remaining days of this week. I believe it's gonna be a good week since we don't have actually much high impact news and the market seems it's calm and so many signals are so easy to be read. However, even the premium group, actually we are expecting to make very good signals this week, and again I'm telling you, we are actually aiming to make more than thousands of pips this week, considering that the market right now is in its best condition. So that's everything for the weekly analysis. I hope that was informative to you and I would like to thank you for watching.